Hello, Falcon fans, and welcome to our career retrospect as we highlight Katelyn Cardinale from both women's lacrosse and field hockey. My name is Matt Menzel from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Let's begin by talking about how you ended up here at Concordia.
I went to a field hockey college showcase in Florida, and Coach Sam was there, and she saw me and she emailed me, and so I came out here for a visit, and then I fell in love with the school.
What is it about the school you fell in love with?
The lake.
All about the lake.
Yeah. It makes it feel like home because at home I'm by the beach, so there's always water around me, but any other school I looked at doesn't have that. And then coming here and seeing the lake and like how pretty it was and like the environment, I just liked it so much.
So initially you came here for field hockey, but did you also have in the back of your mind you'd also get the opportunity to play lacrosse?
Yeah, so originally in high school I chose to just play club field hockey because that's what I wanted to play in college. And then I also played lacrosse in high school for my team, and then when I reached out to a couple of coaches, they also mentioned like, oh, we have lacrosse too, you could play both. So then that's when it kind of got in my head like I could come for field hockey and lacrosse. So this was one of the schools that had my major and I could play both.
From that standpoint, we look at juggling not only sports but also the academic side. How challenging was it?
It wasn't that bad. I feel like it was definitely a lot easier than high school academically. I think my high school was kind of hard academically, but just being in college with like so much time because you don't have as many classes, you're not in classes for 8 hours a day, you had so much more time to study and do homework and stuff. So then outside of practice, that's all I really did, and I kind of excelled in academics too.
We will touch on the field hockey side of things a little bit, but obviously one of the main reasons we're talking with you is about your lacrosse career, and you will leave Concordia as the all-time career goals leader and among the who's who when you look at a number of offensive categories. You go back to 2023, okay, your first lacrosse season, your first ever matchup taking place on March 3rd at Elmhurst. You scored a couple of times. You remember anything about that first college game?
Yeah, I do. I remember my first goal too. I remember the exact cut I made. I remember getting the ball and shooting it and going in, and like the emotion going through my body. I forgot to drop my stick too because we didn't do that in high school, and then everyone was like, drop your stick, and I was like, oh my god. And it was just like insane, and then I scored again that same game, I think earlier in the game too. But yeah, after that game I was just like so happy and so excited.
Obviously, having played lacrosse in the past at the prep level, was there a big adjustment coming to the collegiate game?
Yeah, definitely, because especially because I didn't play lacrosse my senior year of high school, so it had been 2 years before I played competitively. So, like at practice, it was a lot harder because I didn't have as much practice as everyone else did with like other people around me and like playing 1v1 defense, offense. So I definitely had to adjust to it, but we have a really long preseason in the beginning of the year, so that helped.
So as you're knocking off the rust, you get those 2 goals in that first game on March 3rd of 2023. Was it a big confidence booster for you going, hey, I can play at this level?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think that my teammates helped with my confidence a lot because I remember being there in preseason the first couple of weeks when some of like the juniors and seniors like saw me come into practice and like saw me playing. Every time I made like some cool shot at practice or something, they would hype me up and be like, oh my god, like that was such a good goal. And so that was definitely like a huge confidence booster too. That helped a lot.
We talk about confidence. How long would you guess it took you to get comfortable at the college level?
I don't think long at all. I think that most of the time people don't come into college with a lot of confidence, but somehow I did. I don't know how. I didn't do it on purpose. I just like naturally had it, I guess. So.
Yeah, and certainly the stats reflect that. In 17 games, scoring 46 goals with 7 assists, 53 points that first college season. Named the NAC Freshman of the Year, a first-team All-Conference honoree. Take us through that offseason, okay? You get 1 season under your belt. Before you start thinking field hockey, do you do anything different to prepare yourself for year 2 for lacrosse?
Not really. I kind of just did the same thing. Most of the time I go out to the field by myself and I do like different footwork drills and dodging drills and work on different types of shots and stuff, but I really just kept like practicing both my right and left hand and making sure that my skills stayed sharp and trying to get better at different things.
What do you credit? Because one thing that stands out to me is when you look at your stats year by year, your numbers kept getting better and better. And it's one thing to kind of go flat or maybe drop a little bit because you set the bar high as a freshman. But what do you credit your continued improvement and success to?
I think that every single game and definitely every single season, my goal was to be better than I was before. So every game, my goal was to be better than I was the last game. So if I scored like 1 or 2 goals in the last game, I wanted to score the same, or like 2 or 3. And then the next season, after I scored 46 goals, the next year I was like, I want to score at least 47 and just try to visibly show improvement. Even though I knew I was improving, like as a player, that was kind of a marker to help me know that like what I was doing was working.
You scored at least 47. You scored 59 that second year. The one matchup I want to point out, though, is March 9th of 2024. That was at Augustana. Program record, 11 goals. You tied the program record with 12 points in that matchup. If there was a lacrosse video game, that's video game-like numbers. What was the story of that matchup? How were you able to go off for 11 goals?
I think that their program definitely wasn't the best in that year, but our program was also very good that year, so that helped a lot. And I think right off the bat I scored a hat trick in like the first 2 minutes of the game, and after that I had a huge confidence boost for that game too, and I was like, wow, this is like great. And I did know the record for goals at that point was like 7 or 8 or something like that, and I was like, that would be super cool to break it. And then at one point I knew I was past it, but the game wasn't over, and I just kept scoring because I had more and more opportunities, and then I lost count. And at the end of the game, my teammates were like, you got 11, and I was like, oh my God.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, as you're scoring 6, 7, 8, I mean, do you lose track because there's so much going on, and I mean, 11 goals is a lot in one match.
Yeah, sometimes. I do also tend to, like, black out in games. Like, at the end of the game, if someone's like, oh, I'm sorry about, like, that one ball I passed you, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember that at all. So there's a lot of times that, like, the game will be going on and I'll score a couple of goals and I just kind of forget, like, which goal I'm on. Sometimes I can remember, but usually I can't.
By your junior year, you scored 60 goals. By your senior season, 67, tied for second most in a single season in program history. You look at all the goals you've scored, and you mentioned maybe sometimes you black out or maybe sometimes you forget all the goals run together, but is there one or two that stand out among the rest?
Goals?
Mm-hmm.
My open net goal this year at Marion, the goalie hit me in the head and she had to go behind me, so the net was wide open. But I think that stands out a lot to me because my freshman year, I had the same thing happened and I false started before because I was so nervous about missing it. So the goal didn't count. So I couldn't score on that one, but then I got another chance this year and I scored on it finally.
I was going to say, with an empty net, I got to believe there's more pressure than many would think,
Yeah.
because you miss that, you're never going to hear the end of that.
Nope.
You better make that. It's wide open.
Yep.
That's probably one of the easiest goals you've had all the time, and you look throughout your career, and it's over 63 games played. How about 232 goals, 34 assists, 266 points. You had 36 up goals, 8 down goals, 5 game winners. I mean, again, the list goes on and on and on. Let's talk about that record-setting goal you had, though, against Marion to surpass the previous record for goals in Falcon women's lacrosse history. What did that moment mean to you? You knew going in you were tied, you won. When you got it, what did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. It definitely did feel like a big weight lifted off my shoulders too. It happened in the second quarter, I think, of the game. So the whole first quarter is kind of all I was thinking about. And it was a really hard game. The reffing wasn't the greatest that game, and the other team was really chippy. So it was a lot of pressure, I feel like. And then going into the second quarter, I knew all I needed was one goal, but I feel like it was kind of a mental block. And then once I got it, it was just like relief. And then I didn't feel like that anymore. So
as your career went on and on and on year after year, when did you start to maybe realize you had a shot at breaking that record that was previously held by Lauren Paquin?
It was definitely in the back of my mind since before I came here. But I think that I definitely realized I could break it my junior year. My goal my freshman year was to just score 200 career goals after scoring 46. I was like, I could go for 50 a year, and then that would keep me on pace to get 200. And then my junior year, once I was only 55 away with 60 the last season, or 59 the last season. 60.
You had 60 as a
60,
junior.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was 60. That's when I knew that I definitely had a shot. So it was in the back of my mind all this year too.
Look at all the games you played for lacrosse. Do you have a favorite game?
I don't think so. I mean, the Augustana game definitely stands out to me. but I don't know. I kind of think they all blend together usually.
And one thing that stands about this team, too, is the fact you guys have found ways to be competitive. It's a conference that, in your time, has grown, and all of a sudden you add a bunch of new teams last couple of years, and so the competition's gotten that much greater. How do you feel like you guys have grown as a team in your time here?
I think that we've gotten a lot closer. From my freshman year to now, I'm a lot closer with my teammates than I was. And I think that, like, the way that we go about our team is, like, how that kind of happens, because our team is very chill and very relaxed, but we're all still very competitive. So we just bond over that, and we have so much fun at practice and outside of practices, at team bonding events and when we hang out together, and I think that definitely helps the team become a lot closer.
When you look at trips, when you look at, whether it be an opponent, a certain opponent, do you have a favorite team trip, or do you have a favorite opponent that you always got up for when you saw them across the way?
Favorite team trip is definitely, I think, spring break, even though we play different opponents every time. We don't really travel that often because most schools are close to us, but I do like the overnight trips, even though we only had 2 this year with the spring break and then Cornell. It was a lot of good team bonding.
Speaking of travel, let's talk about field hockey briefly for a second, because you do a lot of traveling in the fall with field hockey. Do you have a favorite trip during your field hockey time?
Marion, because it's so close.
And you finally beat Marion. You got that one win. That was a team that had been, for those that follow the field hockey team, that's always been a nemesis, and they had Falcons' number until this past year. Mm-hmm. That's got to be a big win.
Yeah, it was. I cried at the end of that game. It was surreal. It was so fun, and it was a thriller too, because it was overtime, and we scored off of a corner. So that was great.
With all those hours spent on a bus, how do you spend that time? Can you sleep on a bus?
Yes, we sleep the whole time.
But you can find a way to. Okay.
Yeah. So what we do is we get those like the dog seat covers that like attach to like the back and the front.
Okay.
And we got those, and then we put them on the back of the seat in the front, and it's like a little hammock in our seats.
That works.
Yeah.
What else do you? I think I read for your senior day celebration, you played the game Imposter.
Yeah, we did that for lacrosse. We started that in our Cornell trip. It was like a 4-hour bus ride back, so we started playing that, and we played that for maybe 2 hours, and it made the bus ride go so fast. So every trip we had, whether it was like an hour or 2 hours, we always played that on the way back, and it was so fun.
For those that don't know, explain the game.
So in the group, there's an app that you use to like kind of assign it, but in the group there's a word. So the word could be like cemetery, and then everybody except for one person knows the word. So the person that doesn't know the word is given a hint word that they can say to kind of like blend in. But you go around in a circle saying like, I could say like gravestone, and then the next person could say like ghost, and then either you vote out who you think the imposter is based on what they're saying if it doesn't match up, or if the imposter knows what the word is, they can say what they think the word is.
I'm glad the best example you had was cemetery. Way to go. No, but
we used that word before the app gives it randomly.
Going back to lacrosse for a second, how did you see teams defend you differently as the years went on? Obviously, maybe that first year you're a secret, but quickly people started to realize, hey, she can score.
Yeah, first year was definitely a lot less heavy defense on me. Towards the end of the season, they got a little bit better as I started to score more goals and stuff, but I wasn't the only biggest goal scorer on my team my freshman year either, so they had more people to worry about, so I feel like it wasn't as bad. But each year I feel like they started to put a lot more emphasis on me, and then there's some games that they'll face guard me and just try to completely take me out of the equation. But then sometimes we'll hear the girls talking about and the goalies saying mark number 10, and they say sometimes mark number 9, make sure you stay tight on the better players on our team. So it definitely gets a lot harder, but I got used to it.
When you look at your pre-match routine, did you have a regular routine that you followed prior to the start of a match?
Yes, I did, except for this year. I kind of didn't. I messed around with not doing some things, and it was interesting because I'm definitely very superstitious, and I have to do the same thing every single time. And I thought the game was going to be horrible if I didn't do that, but I didn't do that Lake Forest game, and I still played good, and it was a good game. But I always wore my hair the same. I always did 2 braids into 5 braids in my ponytail, but this year I just did a slick back and then 5 braids in my ponytail. And then I always pray during the national anthem. And yeah, I think that's all I really do before. But sometimes if I had a good game, I'll like copy exactly what I did, like what I wore, what I ate, and stuff like the day before.
Any significance to number 10?
So I was number 10 in high school, except for both field hockey and lacrosse. I think I was number 10. And I wanted to be number 10 for field hockey when I came in, except number 10 was taken, so I had to be number 1. But I feel like that was the next best thing. But number 10
Yes,
was
that's not
available
bad.
for lacrosse. Yeah, so I took number 10.
Before we talk about your future and wrap things up, how would you summarize your field hockey career here?
Short, I guess. I feel like they were both short, but I feel like it went by really fast. It didn't feel like it after my sophomore year. I was like, oh, I still have 2 more years. I have such a long time. But then after your senior year, everything kind of just like blends together, and you feel like you just started like last month.
We talked about the Marion win, but any other match or game from field hockey that stands out?
Sewanee, when I scored my first goal. I don't remember much of the game, except I do definitely remember all the goals that were scored in that game. And I think Katie also scored a goal that game too. I'm pretty sure we won. And I remember there's a picture of like us celebrating after her goal as well, and we're all so excited.
When you think back and looking toward the future, and for those that are coming into this program, whether it be lacrosse or field hockey, they see your name all over the record book. What do you hope people say when they think Katelyn Cardinale? What kind of legacy do you hope you've left here?
I hope that like I left people with wanting to like strive to be a better athlete, and kind of hope that they can, I guess, like be the best version of themselves, because I think like especially when I saw Lauren's scores and stuff like that, I kind of like looked up to her in a way of like, even though I didn't know her, but of a way of like if she could do that, like maybe I could too.
What message would you have, or do you have, for your friends, your family, your teammates that have supported you throughout your time here at Concordia?
I'm very thankful, definitely, for all of the support from my friends, my teammates, and my family. Especially my teammates, though, because I think it's really important to have a supportive team. Otherwise, you kind of like can fall out of love with the sport, or it could just be hard to enjoy it if you don't have the best team. So I'm definitely very thankful to my teammates for that.
To wrap it all up, Concordia days are now done. What's next as we tape this for Katelyn Cardinale?
I'm staying here. I'm living in an apartment with Hannah Lawson, my locker buddy, for at least the next 2 years until she graduates. And I'm working in Thiensville at an architectural firm as an architectural designer. So that should be exciting. I already started part-time, and then I start full-time in about like 2.5 weeks. So.
Well, Katelyn, thanks a lot. All the best with your future endeavors. Thank you for your time here at Concordia, and congrats on all the success.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us for this career retrospect.